Welcome to JHC. I'm CJ. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about 3 signs that you have an insecure manager at your job. Now, a lot of people aren't really big fans of management in general for a lot of different reasons. But today we're going to focus on specific reasons why your manager is an insecure manager and why it may be legitimate that you may not like this manager because their insecurities manifest in different ways. So let's go ahead and start with the first reason. The first sign that you have an insecure manager is they'll show you that they are a micromanager. And a manager is a micromanager only because they don't truly trust their own leadership. Insecure managers confuse control with competence. When they don't trust their own skill set, decision making, or authority, they overcompensate by hovering over every move you make. And you'll notice it in little ways first. They'll rewrite your emails word for word. They'll nitpick at every little thing that you do. They stand over your shoulder asking for updates every 5 minutes. They want to, quote unquote, approve things that never needed approval before. They refuse to let you finish a task the way that you were intending to finish it, even if your way is faster and better. And after a while, them doing this turns into a thing where it's a difference in opinion versus a difference in accuracy. This isn't about company standards. This is about their fear of being exposed. Micromanagers operate from insecurity, and their motto is, if you produce good work without me controlling it, people might realize I'm unnecessary. So what they often do is insert themselves into every step to stay relevant. A confident leader assigns a task, gives guidance, and lets you do your thing. An insecure leader can't handle not being the center of the process. And the worst part is, micromanagement kills trust, creativity, and job satisfaction. And they blame you for the low morale that they created in the first place. And I've dealt with a lot of micromanagers in my time on different jobs that I've had. You know, they get into majoring in the minors and, again, nitpicking at every little thing that you do and questioning every decision that's made. I even had one manager one time call me up to ask me what I was doing every single hour. And the reason why is we had a day where we were able to work from home. And this was a manager who wasn't really comfortable with the whole work from home thing. So she called me up and literally questioned me about what I was doing every hour on the hour. It was the most ridiculous thing. And the thing is that conversation didn't really lead to anywhere besides her going on and on and on about trying to figure out how I was spending all of the 8 hours in a productive way, since she wasn't there to monitor every little thing that I was doing. It was a nightmare working with her, needless to say. The second sign of an insecure manager is they get defensive when you ask normal questions. An insecure manager hears every reasonable question as a threat. You're just trying to understand the assignment, and that's all. They're trying to protect their ego in the meantime. Simple questions like, can you clarify that deadline? What's the priority between these tasks? Who should approve this? And even questions about the work itself should never cause tension. But with an insecure manager, they will take it personally. They'll get snappy. They'll start deflecting and they'll answer questions with questions. They'll give vague answers. They'll make you also feel difficult for trying to do your job correctly. They'll make it seem like you're not taking initiative, and they may even say it. The truth is, they never want to say this out loud. Questions expose gaps in their knowledge. A secure leader wants you to ask questions because clarity leads to better work. An insecure one shuts you down because your questions remind them that they don't know as much as they pretend to. When someone can't handle a basic clarification, it's a preview of how they'll handle conflict, mistakes, pressure, and your personal growth. If they're defensive now, imagine how they'll act when something real goes wrong. And I really hate this one, even from my experience, because people get nitpicky about the ways you ask questions, and they'll try to make all of these silly rules that try to justify why they can be passive aggressive and condescending whenever you are asking questions. They'll say things such as, there's a difference between a regular question and an informed question, or there's lazy questions and don't ask them, or what do you think? They'll feed it back to you. And they'll try to say like it's a thing where they want you to critically think. But in actuality, it's not any of that. It's that they either don't have time or they don't know. And they often do this because they're not trying to look weak or unknowledgeable in the process. So they put it back on you when you're asking great clarifying questions. And some, the worst of them, will even take that as a personal shot, as if you're questioning their authority or their knowledge because they're insecure. And again, I've had a manager who was just like this, got extremely defensive whenever I would ask questions, especially when things in a process didn't make sense or weren't totally clear. She would make it about me and make it about the idea that I was asking too many questions instead of just doing the work that was given. Whenever I would ask her why questions on why a certain process would work, she would become extremely defensive. And often too, she would make it where I felt like I even had to be defensive about asking questions. I had to repeatedly tell her, I'm just trying to understand the logic. And instead, it became a session of her trying to turn it around on me and then nitpick at every single thing that I was asking. And that became absurd. The third sign that you have an insecure manager is they hoard information to maintain control. And this is one of the sneakiest and most common forms of insecure leadership. Instead of empowering their team, insecure managers keep critical information to themselves because it makes them feel valuable. They think being the only one who knows everything is job security. That's why you'll see things like key updates being shared at the last possible second, instructions missing important steps that they forgot to mention all of a sudden, you finding out about changes from other departments instead of your own manager, and consistently being left out of meetings or email threads. They're not forgetful, they're protecting their position. When a manager hoards information, what they're really saying is, I'm scared that if you know too much, someone will realize you're more capable than I am. It's a power move that keeps the team stuck, stressed, and blindsided. A real leader distributes information so the team can thrive. An insecure leader keeps everyone in the dark so they feel like the smartest person in the room. This creates a workplace where you never feel fully prepared. You're always reacting instead of planning. Blame gets pushed down the line, and the team can't grow because the manager won't let knowledge flow. If your manager treats information like a secret stash, that's not leadership. They're showing you insecurities, and they're wearing it like a badge of honor. Another thing that these managers will do is when they leave the job, you'll have certain tasks that you'll try to take on and certain things you'll do, and you'll find out that there's holes in the way that they taught you or the things that they were trying to show you. And then somebody else will come in and they'll try to figure out the process and do things a different way. And what you'll find is that there were certain things that you did not know, certain things that you were supposed to have known in order to do your job properly. And then you're now being questioned as to why you don't know A, B, C, and D, because this manager wasn't really filling you in on what you should have known from the get-go. This was another episode of JHC. I'm CJ, and I'll talk to you later.